What is that? And why is it on my ceiling? We'll get to that.
How you doing, Dave?
Well, the rain started coming down really hard and heavy, and then we went to bed and realized our bed was wet. And there's these little holes in the ceiling that look like staples we never really thought about. And one of these holes was dripping water onto the bed. It's the middle of the night. We can't exactly go out and do anything about the roof right now. And we're like, I don't know how to deal with this. So I'm taping up a plastic container to try to catch any water that comes. It seems like it stopped.
Mm-hmm.
But then Tanya's like, if that fills up and falls down on us in the middle of the night, it probably would just be even worse.
Yeah, I'm gonna be mad.
At one point I was like, too bad we don't have a diaper to tape this.
This is gonna be interesting. Let's see what happens.
I didn't use a stronger tape because I don't want to pull the ceiling down when I take the tape down.
Exactly. All right, MacGyver. Good night.
Good night. So last night we had a lot of rain, and when we came to go to bed about midnight, there was wet blankets. They're all bunched up. Tanya wants to wash them. Look at that cat. The first thought was the cat had wet the bed. But then I came in and saw that there are these little, staple holes. Oh, yeah. There's no water in there. Nothing happened. Can you see? Maybe it'll work better if I turn the light on. These have always been here. There's one there. They're like staples. I've never really questioned what they are. They're just there. And this one had water beating up and coming out of it. And it was midnight. I took some Z-Quil and some melatonin, and I was getting tired. So what I did, it's what am I going to do? I thought it was going to keep dripping. So I took something light and I taped it to the ceiling to catch it. Thankfully that didn't happen. And in fact, there's no more moisture in there. It seemed like it kind of stopped after we caught it and figured out whatever was going on. So now it's the next morning and I'm climbing up on the roof trying to figure this out. And I kind of mapped, you can see, maybe you can see the ladder out there, just trying to match where this is at. And that's pretty much the air conditioner. So we have those kind of, I think they call them whisper quiet, where it's got the intake vents on the side, not directly there. And then we've got ducted vents everywhere. So whatever these staples are, I think they're directly related to the air conditioner. My thoughts, because it rained really hard last night. It came out of nowhere too. You could see a little weather pattern coming over the mountains here, the Catskill Mountains. Nothing real major, and it was more to the east of us. And then all of a sudden, it just appeared right over the top of us and grew all the way to a red dot. And it was raining so hard, I could not hear the TV. Tanya was trying to put the girls to bed. I would have had to crank the TV way up just to hear it. I was worried it was like hail. I mean, it was coming down very hard and right on top of us. So as of right now, because I haven't opened anything up yet, I don't see any major problems or flaws up on the roof. I'm thinking it rained so hard it filled up the air conditioner. The air conditioner actually got too much rain inside of it before it could properly drain out, and some of that somehow made its way in. I need to do maintenance on the air conditioner, so it sounds like that's just gonna all coincide today. Let's open up the air conditioner, clean up the coils, and just kind of check and see if we think that that's where this water came from. Thankfully, there was nothing in this contraption. Can you imagine if that had filled up with water and then dropped on us at 4 in the morning? Tanya said she'd be mad. I think we would have all laughed at it. Just saying. Alright, I got the top off. I guess the question will be water getting in there, and I do actually see moisture right there. But that could be from Yeah, that pipe right there gets cold. So that literally could just be condensation. But not there though. There shouldn't be any condensation on that side. So I think that's what we're dealing with. The way that everything acted. I think somehow we wound up with too much water in here. Now this compartment up here is where the inside air goes in and out. Let's stand up. Makes me nervous as I move around. I can feel the ceiling flex a little bit. I am a big guy. It's probably not technically rated for my size. Yeah, let's open this up and take a look. Haven't got it off yet. It's still pretty snug. This is styrofoam, in case you were wondering. That's a styrofoam insulation that then is covered by that plastic. So what's inside of there is what gets cold, and then it's blown. You've got your fan. This fan here blows this part. So this is your outside part. Think about your house or your split unit. That's your outside part. This is your inside part. One motor turns both fans. So the fan that's trapped inside of here is what's circulating your air to your inside. Alright, so this is what it looks like. Styrofoam's pulled off. I've seen worse. Sure, it's dirty, but like I said, I have seen worse. There's the plywood to our ceiling down there. A stink bug caught in the fan. I wonder how long that's been there. So that's, some people call that the squirrel cage. You can see it as it turns. As I'm looking around and I see moisture in these areas, but remember, this part gets cold. Like if somebody was telling you, hey, your AC is freezing up, this would be the part that would freeze up and would cause it to, need to be thawed out. So moisture in that area is not that unusual, especially around these copper pipes right here. But look at this right here. Just a little bit of moisture right there. That's wet. I can't think of any valid reason why there would be moisture right there. Right there. See that? To me, that doesn't make as much sense. Right there. Yeah, I think that's what happened. And I'm looking down here. So that's the ceiling you're looking at right there. In fact, I can see the staples. Sorry, I was moving to dry my hand a little bit. See if I can get positioned. I do apologize that the microphone doesn't sound as good. This is just my phone. I didn't want to carry the good camera up the ladder. Having a hard time propping myself up here. Can y'all see the staple sticking right there? But that staple's not doing anything. It begs the question, why is it there? So if this area right here filled up with water, that would be where it came from. Now there's some foam here that I'm touching. I'm wondering if the staple is holding that in there. So I guess my next concern would be down here. See how dirty that is down there? So this is basically where the air conditioner is bolted to the ceiling. Then you've got some sealant around it. And it doesn't seem like it's in the worst of shape. Looks like a little bit of peeling back right there. It's definitely dirty though. So that would be my next concern. Look at that moisture dripping out of there. That is definitely coming from, I think there's a hole there, I guess, to drain that stuff out. While I'm looking around, I just noticed this blue wire just sitting here loose like that. I don't know if that's supposed to be like a open end for a sensor or what. I'm having a hard time thinking that this was all wet. I don't know if that was the case. I'm more afraid that these seals down here underneath could possibly be the problem. So I guess my conclusion and concern is the fact that I see moisture right there. There shouldn't have been even any moisture right there. Or there. Those two places I think should be dry. Should be moisture over here and moisture within here within the certain channels, and obviously not down there. It doesn't look really wet down there, but the fact that I've got moisture in here and there and over here where that line is tells me that we got rain in here like we've never gotten rain in here before, and I'm not leaning towards freaking out. Even look at right there, some moisture in that crack. So I'm not too terribly worried right now. Obviously if we start seeing a trend, I'll get more worried. It's easy to take this top off and to take this foam off, but to start taking this whole thing off is a whole new ball game. There is a line, when I look down here at the wood that's the ceiling, there is a line of dust down there that maybe some water had pooled right there. It's hard to say for sure. So while I do have all this opened up, probably would be a good idea for me to do maintenance. I have a little set of combs. They have different types of combs you can use to scrape through this, and that can actually help you re-straighten out some of the fens that have gotten bent. I've also got some foam sprays that are used for cleaning it. Now I thought maybe I should just go ahead and open both of them at the same time so they're ready to go. The downside to that is that means I need to take both of them offline and people are going to start getting hot inside. So it would be better for me to just go ahead and do this one, and then when it's done we can turn it back on and then we can take that one down for cleaning. So in the quest for finding moisture, I have this tool. Years ago in our house, we had pipes burst and start leaking in our house, and I picked up this tool. It can detect moisture through the drywalls. It's got a couple different modes that I can put it to, which I've tried all of them, and I've been going around and I've been picking up moisture. Now this is one of the return vents, which currently, that's a brand new filter. What I'm going to do is clean my old filter. I know it's nasty. We definitely don't clean these as often as we should, but that's pretty much pet dander at its worst right there. So I have two spares. What I'll do is I'll clean those and let them air dry and put two up. But I scanned right here and I got 40% moisture right there between that light and there. So I took it apart and I stick my hand up there and I don't feel any moisture. So I don't know if that detector is just picking up the cool air coming through from the air conditioning, or if there is some saturation from what happened last night somewhere in there. Not entirely sure. Maybe it's picking up above, which is very possible and a little bit concerning as well. But that's where we're at right now. So I am going to clean everything. Everything's nasty. But yeah, this, I just started cleaning this. I'm like, you know, I should show you all that. Right now I'm literally just running water off of it, getting all the pet hair and dander down off of it, and then I'll put it back up. Gross, right? Yeah, who said life was pretty? Alright, I'm up on the roof and I've got it all tore apart and I need to get to work. And before I climbed up here again, the transitioning from the ladder, like climbing up the ladder is not difficult for me. It's getting my feet and legs up here on the roof. This ladder wants to swing to the side, like fall down. It's kind of scary for me. So I have no problems climbing up this ladder. I want Tanya to hold it as I'm transitioning. I got my stuff up here. I've got, these are called combs. These fit in the fins of the coils. You can clean them and re-straighten them if they get bent. I've got my foam sprays, and I can never seem to remember which one of these is for the inside and which one's for the outside. Last time I think I did it wrong and we wound up with a lemony fresh scent inside we probably shouldn't have had. And then I like to bring up the shop vac, which I still need the power cable for. And then my drill's up here. There's a number of screws that go into, which I've got them over here. I like bringing towels for multiple reasons. It gives me a padding for my knees, but then it also, if I need to dry something up real quick, I can. But I got to looking at the radar before I was about to get started. I was just kind of chilling for a minute, and then I was like, it's very possible that another rainstorm like last night could develop very rapidly over us. So this just became urgent. Because if I leave this open right now as it is, there's nothing to stop the rain from going directly into the ceiling of our bedroom, making it probably 5 times, 10 times worse than what it was last night without that white shell. Can you see the white shell? It's laying back over there behind it. I call this the penguin. It's black on the bottom, white on top. I don't know if that's accurate. Anyway, let's get to work. I gotta go get Tanya. She was eating some lunch. I'm gonna put the camera inside just in case. I'd hate to have this nice camera up here and then all of a sudden we get blazing rain. And obviously I'm not gonna get to that one today then. What I'll try to do is probably do like an official workup video on this, probably with that one later. Get all the little seedlings from the trees all over. This tree is the evil sap tree. I had a lot of sap in my hair last night. All right, let's get to work.
Hi, what you doing?
I've been investigating a water leak.
Oh, are you?
I'm gonna clean the air conditioner.
Nice.
So I've already sprayed the foam in here, and it's just it kind of soaks in and brings some more dirt out. I found that the best comb for this was the 15 per inch, and it is actually, it's pretty cool. You have to be kind of delicate. You can see one there where it's kind of bent in. There were more that were bent in, and you get it in there just right and comb it up, and you can kind of get them resituated the way they should be. They're very, very delicate. So I think on one of them I got too many pinched in between the comb, and it caused them to get tightened, and I was actually able to just fix them. So it's pretty cool. You get this kit, I'll have a link for this on Amazon. It has all the sizes. It's very possible the one in the back is a different size. Right now, since there's possible pending rain, I'm gonna go ahead and just get this one done and then get out of here before, because you know, if the rain poured into there, that's my ceiling to the bedroom. I was really impressed with those combs. I got a pretty good chunk of what was bent straightened back out. Not the best cleaning job. I'm sure I could do more. I'd like to bring up some pliers. It's really hard to get that debris down there. My vacuum is not reaching it. So, but I'm in a hurry. Don't know if and when another crazy rainstorm will come through. So I'll save the rest of this for another day. I'm gonna wrap this back up. Put that styrofoam back on top of here. That staple I see down there is indeed the staple where the water was coming from. So I do know that there was water in this area, most likely from the rain. And look, that spot right there that was wet earlier, dried up from the sun. There's another factor that bothers me when I look at the front one versus the back one, and that is, I felt like there was a bit of a gap right here that probably shouldn't have been here. Up here doing just a quick inspection of seals around here. This is the Dicor self-leveling, and I saw this right here. That's like a UV exposure, and that is going bad, and that's going to need to be addressed sooner than later. Now, I'm of the school of thinking that it's better to use, I've been wanting to use Eternabond instead of this self-leveling Dicor. I thought that that would be a better option. One of the problems with Eternabond is it's very difficult to take off. It's good for UV protection for like 18 to 30 years. But what happens if I crack this skylight? Like, look, you can see tree branches or something here is scraped. So if that gets damaged and I used Eternabond around the top and I need to get it off and replace the skylight, might be a problem. At any rate, this is definitely showing wear and tear even all around here, so it is time to address this. So I believe the proper technique is to scrape this up and put down new self-leveling sealant. It'll be my first time having to deal with that. Just kind of looking for any more. I'm pretty sure if this one's going bad, they're all going to need it pretty soon. It's a every couple of years thing. That's why people think that the Eternabond is the better because of the 18 to 30 years. And I like Eternabond. I used the Eternabond on the top of that slide back there. We had a leak. It was always leaking down when it would rain by Kira's bunk. And I was able to address that by putting Eternabond all the way across the top of that slide over there. And it worked. We haven't had any leaks over there. Alright, let's take a look at what I was talking about with the venting. The gaps. It has a little bit of a gap right there, but not much. I hope you can hear me. But when you look at this one, now I haven't screwed it down yet. That's still a pretty big gap right there though. Not sure why this one looks different than that one. It's all closed up, and look at that gap now. To me, something seems wrong about that gap. That could very well be where the water's coming from, or it was just too overwhelming and it came up through there. I wish I'd had some cameras on the situation, because that was some of the hardest rain I'd ever heard. We're going to go ahead and call it a freak of nature rainstorm. Time to get down. Here's the vents. Tanya got this thing out to hang them up to dry, and you said Kaylin blew them dry? Yep. She got it on video. Let's see if I can find it. Alright, we got it all closed back up. I cleaned the coils in the front, didn't bother with the coils in the back. Was just worried about that potential for another freak rainstorm to come through. So I still need to do the back there, need to do that up there. I've got the vent open. I was sitting at my computer there for a minute, started kind of seeing white spots, and then I'm like, oh yeah, after I sprayed that clean, I'm supposed to ventilate. So I opened a window and turned the vent on. So in discussion about the gap, I don't know if you can see the gap here at the front, it doesn't belong. There really isn't, like maybe a little bit of a gap on the back one. I don't feel like that gap should be there. Something seems wrong about that. So I think what we're gonna do is look at getting like a seal like you put around a door or a window when you're trying to kind of airtight your home, keep the air from escaping. I'm thinking about getting something like that, an adhesive that I can cut just right, that I can put, maybe apply to the white part or to the black part. Either way, so that when it meets, it creates a seal, so that if any rain were trying to come through that crack that really doesn't belong there, would keep the water from coming out. The only other options are, like I said, if this vent down here on the bottom was filling up with too much water, if it was so freakishly raining so hard that water couldn't escape, then it would backfill into what it did. And I'm discussing with other open range owners right now, and one guy was saying the little drain holes were still clogged with sawdust years later, and he had this problem happen. So I thought that was interesting. You might want to check that out too, because yeah, you can see where it's been dripping right there. It's supposed to drip right there. It's supposed to run down here when you've been using your AC a lot and it's humid out. That's normal. So to all of a sudden experience something where that backs up and then you're dripping inside can potentially be a problem too. So that's another thing to look for. All right, I'm gonna get down off this ladder. Think I can film and climb? Got some sweat in my eye. I always wind up with this issue where my sweat gets in my eye and it just burns. I did it. I climbed all the way down. I climbed all the way down while filming.
How dare you?
How dare I?
How dare you? That's dangerous. You're supposed to tell me these things.
It's like she values my life or something.
It's like I love you or something.
Oh my goodness, she loves me. What you doing?
Oh, what's happening?
You watching YouTube outside by the river?
I am somebody.
You are somebody. Look at that dog over here in the green. Look at these beautiful flowers. There we go. This river, Kira and I were looking at it yesterday before the rain, and we were saying it was much more shallow. I could see all the way to the bottom, and they had built like a dam making like a waterfall over there. I was asking her, it's like, do you want to, we could try that here. It's not as deep right now, but you could see much deeper, much muddier from all the rain from last night. This campsite's been awesome. It's funny though, because right now I see her bike. She is over at the other river. There's literally another river crossed over there, and I can see her pink bike over there with another waterfall. She's chasing waterfalls when we have waterfalls in our backyard. Let's go check on Kira. Maybe this waterfall is a little bit more dramatic too because of the rain. Now this is odd. This big drainage ditch right here. Y'all think that was full of water last night? Sure doesn't look like it. I see Kaylin over here in a red shirt that says ramen.
Well, actually, I was aiming that found the tadpoles, but oh wow!
This water looks a lot clearer. It's deep, but I can see the bottom. Didn't you agree? It's much muddier over on our side, on the river or creek or whatever you call it. Hi, Kira. Hi. All right, I was referencing that meme. There's a meme out there where the kid asks mom, can we stop for something? Stop for some McDonald's or stop for a Slurpee. And then mom's like, no, we have that at home, and then it's something cheaper at home, lower quality. That's what I was thinking about just now, that meme. We have waterfalls behind our RV, and then Kira's off chasing waterfalls somewhere else. And be like, why does she need to go chase those waterfalls? We have waterfalls at our home. The river / creek behind the RV is very muddy right now, and this water over where they're at is actually so clear I can see all the way to the bottom of the deep section. So there's some quality there. It's interesting to think about. They're coming from such a different source that one wasn't affected as much by all the rain last night. Intriguing. Our RV is lonely. Pete left us. Peoples and Places left us.
No, our RV is just very lonely.
Your friend Wyatt left us.
Age anymore. It's very sad.
It's like a high traffic situation. All right, I gotta finish up, clean up, and get this video ready for y'all to watch tomorrow. So let's end it right there. Remember that life happens. Even water dripping out of your ceiling onto your bed in the middle of the night. It happens. Don't let it stop you. Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Never give up. Never surrender.